All right, folks, a new study finds that people with disabilities in the U.S., whether they be physical, emotional, or mental, are more likely to be arrested than people without disabilities. The study also finds that among disabled people, African-American men are most likely to be apprehended by the cops. No shock. This is groundbreaking information with regards to how we approach people in this country who have various disabilities. Joining us from L.A. to help break this down is Alice Benjamin, a clinical nurse specialist. So, Alice Benjamin, your thoughts on this?
Oh, my goodness. So I'm not shocked by this. I think some of us kind of maybe came to this assumption, but to see actual clinical information gathered in statistics speaks volume. And I'll say this, as a nurse, I have seen firsthand, because I've worked in the prisons and I worked in the emergency rooms, I've seen firsthand when police officers have brought in and arrested people of color who I knew didn't really belong in the prison system. It was because they actually had some type of emotional, cognitive, or physical behavior where their behavior was misunderstood, and perhaps this was someone who was just in the wrong surroundings and were influenced by people because of their disability. So, you know, I think police officers, there's a lot of social injustice out there. I know that police officers are undertrained. We already know that they're undertrained when it comes to cultural sensitivity. So what more is it now when we lead into health issues, cognitive disabilities, emotional disabilities, because these aren't things that we can readily see with our eye. It takes a trained person to identify that someone is deficient in certain areas.
And obviously, how we treat mental illness in America differs. And so, frankly, you have too many people who are not trained to deal with folks with mental illness or other disabilities, and that also leads to this.
Right, and absolutely, especially in the black community, it's been taboo. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to acknowledge it. We don't like to go to the doctor, let alone the doctor for our high blood pressure, let alone to admit that maybe there's something more to it and that we have depression, anxiety, bipolar. We don't like to admit those things. Again, we don't like to take medications for even blood pressure or diabetes. What more when it comes to our mental wellness, you know. I'm a proponent of counseling and therapy, and I think there's such a shortage of actually those type of providers and those services, especially in our communities of color, that, you know, it's something that we all need to acknowledge and be more open about and willing to accept, because depression rates are high. Look at everything that's going on. Even if you're a regular person sitting at home watching your television, you're someone who experienced depression and anxiety, and let alone if it's something more, needing to get treatment. But I think the answer here is that we need to be more open when it comes to our mental wellness. We need to make sure that we are going to the doctor and getting these things identified, because you can't fix something that you can't identify. And especially when it comes to our police officers, they need the training. We know for a fact they are short when it comes to training and dealing with people of different backgrounds, different cultures, different languages. I'm quite honestly, though, I'll be quite candid, Roland, I don't know where they're going to fit that in. It's something that's very needed, but where are these officers going to fit in that training so that they can be more aware of these physical, mental, and emotional disabilities? Because, again, this isn't something you can't see with your eye. What they're looking for is crime and safety, and they're going to miss that, you know what, hey, this person really doesn't have the full capacity to really understand what they're doing, or maybe their behavior is not really what I see, but that's maybe a tick or a repetitive behavior that they're doing because of their mental disability or their cognitive disability. They don't understand.
All right, then, Nurse Alice, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Next on News.